day, good day, good day, good day. Listen, how are you? Are you good? You need to be. Why? Because it's another set of the Cater to You show. And we're going to bring some treats to you because, as you know, Cater to You is all about bringing assistance to you through relaxation, through reality. And yes, we're going to bring just a host of good news, of hot topic discussions to you today. So I'm excited. Once again, of course, you know I'm Regina King, the host of this great TV show with this great network. And we're going to have a little fun today. We're going to talk about a great topic, second time around. You know, I know you think about that song, second time around. You think sing, all right? But we're not going to talk about that actually with the singing. We're really going to talk about missed opportunities. What will it take for you this time if you get that same opportunity with something or somebody? What would you do with it? Would you seize it or would you let it go? Because how about sometimes when God brings things back around again, we don't need to hesitate or procrastinate. We just need to go ahead and grab it because we don't know if that opportunity is going to come again. But He's so allowed this time, this segment, and I know He wants to speak to a lot of people to let them know He's giving you another opportunity for something that you just let pass you by. Maybe it was a job opportunity, or maybe it was an opportunity to get some things right within your family that happened and you just didn't seize that moment the first time. But guess what? Out of His grace and out of His goodness, He allowed you to have another opportunity. So we're going to hopefully get some help to you today. As a matter of fact, I know God has put some people on the show today who are going to just do real talk with real experiences just to let you know about that second time around. So I'm going to go ahead and introduce the guest today. I'm so excited to have you on the show. Of course, my brother is back again, Eric King. Happy to have you. Are you here? Are you glad to be here on the show today?
Glad to be here.
All right. And then we have Miss Stacie Taylor who's on the show. Stacie, thank you for showing up today.
Thank you for having me.
Good deal. And then we have Miss LaMonica Brewington who's here. LaMonica, you ready to keep it real today?
I am, thank you.
So a lot of times when I, do prep, because I always like to do prep and let, the guests know beforehand, what we're going to discuss, because I always believe that when God gives me a topic, somebody is dealing with something that He needs to talk to them immediately at that point. And so when He gave me second time around, I like unique topics. And so he's dealing with opportunities, missed opportunities, okay? So we want to sit in some viewers' laps today because they probably said, oh, man, I messed up, that opportunity, that chance for me to get it, it's never going to come again. But today I firmly believe He's saying, you got another opportunity. What you going to do with it, So when y'all heard about that, heard that topic, what's the first thing that came to your mind, LaMonica, just hearing second time around?
Oh, Lord.
Really?
Well, it was, I thought it was an interesting topic, and I was like, okay, well, I wonder why Regina called me for a second time around, but after some prayer, I definitely understand.
Wow. So He's been speaking to you?
Yes.
All right. What you think, Stacie?
Same here. Immediately, I thought about my father.
Okay.
And I just also thought about just every day is another chance to get it right.
Wow. I like that. And Eric, what did you think about that?
Well, three things, me being the preacher, three things I thought about right off the top of my head was acceptance.
Okay.
Adjustment, adaptation, and advancement.
Wow. Break those down for me.
Yeah. Well, we say a lot of times when we deal with kids, or like when we mentor our children, I deal with a lot of young men. They might have messed up on this particular opportunity.
Okay.
But the whole idea is, did you learn anything when you messed up that time?
Wow.
When you learn to accept who you are and where you are, how you went through what you did, you can advance.
Okay.
You would make the adjustments.
Wow.
But you also got to be aware of your situation so you can move to your next season.
That's good. And see, and I want y'all to piggyback on this here. You said something, you have to be aware, and a lot of times I believe we miss out on opportunities because we don't see or know that that's an opportunity, So we're going to get into that as well because we have to at least be a tool or mechanism to tell somebody, how do they know? How can they be aware? The first thing, of course, I know, because we all have a relationship with God. We got to be in prayer. We got to talk to Him. We got to ask. But even in your talking and asking, there's another step. You still have to have some type of discernment to know. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Because we can ask, but if we are not in tune, then how will we really know that that's an opportunity that we need to go forth? What do y'all think about that? Talk about that.
Being in tune, I can understand where, you know, there were some things that maybe I did that I just didn't question God or sought God after before I made a decision to do something, and I see the effects of it.
Wow.
And so because of that, or trying to do it a certain way, thinking it had to be done this way, but not even thinking about the characteristics of God and, you know, what Jesus did as he walked the earth, those are the things that now, with different opportunities that I have, I try to be the hands and feet of Christ as I go in, whether it's to my family members or to my students, whatever the case may be. I just try to think about the second chance that he gave me, or not necessarily second chance, the multiple chances that I have.
That's good. That's good. What about you, Stacie?
I learned to not get stuck on if and when by my standards.
Okay.
Because if you wait on if and when, you may not ever get here.
That is so good. That is so good.
So learning to not do things by my standards or how I think they should be, and being in tune with God and what he tells us to do, then I go ahead and seize those opportunities. And not just for myself, but also being for someone else, for their chance, for their second time, to allow them to have another approach at it.
I like that. So if and what now?
And when.
And when. That can keep you stuck. You know, and we're going to come back to that. Eric, what do you think about that?
Well, no, I agree with Stacie. When we look at it, it also gives us the understanding about relationship.
Yeah.
If we have a relationship, if you have a real relationship with somebody, then you will make the necessary adjustments for the advancement of that relationship. Wow. Notice, if we have a relationship with Christ, we don't do everything we want to do. We do what's necessary for him.
That's good.
That's because of our relationship. Right. Same thing where it go, whether you got a husband and wife, friends, brother and sister, you make the relationship. Now, they say, for example, you my sister. I could have been doing anything on Saturday.
Right.
But because I care about you and the relationship, I make the necessary adjustments to be where I'm supposed to be on time. It makes sense?
That's
so
good.
all of us are like that. If we actually care about somebody and we in relationship with them, we're going to do those things to make it work.
I love it. I love it.
It won't be no if and when.
It won't be no if and when.
We just do.
And sticking with that if and when, because my next question is, well, why do we, you know, some of us allow those opportunities to pass by? That was one of my questions that I posed to you, and you hit it on the head, you know, if and when, you know, because if we start thinking, because, you know, sometimes we'll start putting in our mind, well, what if I step out and try to seize it and I fail, you know, or when, you know, well, I might, you know, set a date, you know, when I think I should step out. Well, then what if we need to step out other than that date we have in our mind, you know, because, you know, God don't operate on our timetable. We have to operate on his, but that if and when, you know. And then I wrote down some other things that will keep us from seizing, like laziness. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. Laziness. That's another reason. Selfishness, you know, as to why we won't step out and take that risk. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes, you know, we say we want to be a Genesis 12, like Abraham, you know, when God said, get thee out, and, you know, he just did it. You know, we say we have that type of faith. But a lot of times, I believe we let opportunities pass us by is because we uncertain and we got to have all the details. What y'all think about that? You know, I know that's a work he has to do in me, because that halts me from receiving sometimes, because I'm a sister that like details. I'm just going to be honest with mine. You know, I'm a work in progress. But if you don't fully give me everything, I feel like it's stupid sometimes to step out there. And I step out to what? I ain't trying to be Abraham. You know what I'm talking about? But then God, he requires us to have that faith. You understand what I'm saying? What are y'all's thoughts about that?
In that, you got to be able, you got to trust him. In that relationship, there's trust involved.
Right.
Remember, Ephesians 3:20 says, now unto him who is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all that you can ask or think.
That's good. That's
so
good.
A lot of times we think, or we try to figure, or as Grandma and them said, we try to reckon. You know,
Not to reckon.
We reckon that this is gonna be like this. But we got to learn to trust him.
Right.
And make the adjustment. We don't understand it all the time, what he wants, but, you know, if we're in tune with him, we can do it and live by faith anyway.
Wow, that's good.
I think even John Wayne, said to live by courage. Courage is not the absence of fear. It's just that you can be scared, but you're going to go and do it anyway.
Right. And sometimes I believe if we do it with fear, you know, that's a part of faith as well. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times we don't step out because of fear, but sometimes it requires us just take that risk of fear and do it, and then we'll see God. You understand what I'm saying? And so I know that sometimes in our walk, God is requiring us, if you make the move, I'm not going to give you all the information up front. I want you to make the move, and as you start moving, then you'll start seeing, you know, information. I'll just drop information in front of you, but you got to do something on your behalf. Because this opportunity, I believe what he's saying today, is not, I'm not going to keep throwing it in your face, but you got a part to play in it too. Because he could put it in our laps all day long, but are we going to grab it? You know? And I tell you, the worst thing that we could do is see somebody else get our opportunity. We're not going to like that. You understand what I'm saying? So how do we talk to those who are viewing in, who is just like, okay, well, I hear you talking, but give me some practical steps on how to seize it. If I know it and I want to grab it, tell me how to get it.
I think they just need to do it. You can't worry about what's in it for me and all the fine details. Like you said, we want to know, well, if we put our time and effort into this, what are the results going to be? What is it going to look like at the end? And you just have to put your fears aside, put your doubts aside. Those people that's in your ear feeding you negative energy, put all of that to the side and don't block your blessing. Go after it. Just do it.
Wow, wow, wow. What do you think, LaMonica?
I think I have to look retrospectively and search within myself is, what does God require of me? And so that at times has been the way that I've been able to move past the fear of whatever I have to do. I have to say, is this what God requires of me? Or even still, is this the best thing to do?
Wow.
And so even in some relationships, you know, what does God honor the most? And that's my obedience.
That's good.
And so I've had to kind of let Monica go on to the side and just, like you said, not operate in fear, but just do it.
Wow, wow. And I love that, because what does he, and that could dispel people in our ear, because you said it, what does God require us to do? Now, when he requires us to do it, do we have to get the feedback from the people?
No.
Because shouldn't it be enough that he said it, you know, so we don't have to, you know, talk to anyone flesh and blood about it. Why not just do it? You know, why do we struggle with just doing it and we got to go get all these second opinions? You know, y'all talk to somebody who's viewing in. Why do we need to even get somebody else's thought because it sounds crazy, but you know God said it? Why not just do it? Why I got to go ask, you know, mama or nene or tay-tay or boo-boo? Why I got to do that when God has just spoke about it?
A lot of it has to do with conditioning. We, you know, especially in our culture, we are conditioned for things. We, you know, like you were saying about who's in your ear. When we think about what actually are you consciously feeding your brain? What you watching on TV? What kind of books are we reading? You know, who are we talking to? I mean, you know, our father used to say a lot of times, you know, we were growing up, if you hang around Johnny all the time, either some of you gonna rub off on him or some of him gonna rub off on you. So what are we consciously feeding our minds with? I mean, who are we consciously letting talk to us? You know, we don't have to accept, you know, people talk negative, you ain't got to be around them.
That's good. That's
but
good.
If you sit there, and then another one, grandma and them say, you know, I'm always bringing up what big mama and them, grandma and them say.
You taking it back, right?
I'm going to take it back, because it's going to be practical. If you allow people to use your head for a trash can, guess where they're going to keep dumping their trash?
That's right. That's right.
We are conditioned for that.
Yeah, and you got to think about it too, because if we allow those to keep putting in our mind, dumping that trash in, and we have a positive time that we're trying to think positively about this, grabbing and seizing second opportunities. Okay, we done heard God. Oh, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it because I don't want to miss no more opportunities. but then we allow some of the negative people or the negative talk to, you know, filter our brain to say, how you figure you're going to do that? You ain't got no money. How you say you're going to, you know, get that second opportunity to start that business, you know? You ain't going to get no loan, you know? So we allow that, and that starts to just shut down that confidence, you know, that we once had, because, you know, that's what I'm saying. It should have been enough that he said do it. Now, if we really want to stick to the matter, if God said do it and he told you to grab this opportunity to open up that business and you don't have the finances, but he told you to do it, I believe the Bible, and it says that he will supply, right? All our need. That's Philippians 4:19. So that should be enough for us to wake up that faith to shut down the negativity of the speaking of the other people. Because let's keep it real, sometimes the other people who are speaking, not all the time, but sometimes the other people who are speaking, they might be jealous because you're going after your second time around. You understand what I'm saying? So what do y'all think about that as far as shutting down with that word? How important is it to get that word on that subject or that topic that you're trying to seek versus going after what the people are saying?
So many times we try to get validation from everybody else, but God has already qualified us to do it.
Monica.
Otherwise, he would not have given us that assignment. And so to me, it's a faith walk. Either we're going to let them do it and have them keep us stagnant, or we're going to move further with what God requires us to do. And at the end, I don't want to be the one lacking and they, you know, satisfied with me staying down with them instead of me reaching my full potential and what God has required for me to do.
Wow. Because won't you be miserable if you do that and you didn't reach that goal?
Yeah, and it won't even take that long to figure it out.
Right.
You know?
Right, because I don't want to stay stuck.
No.
You know. What are you about to say, Stacie?
That's good. They, you know, that old saying, misery loves company. And I'm, if I can just keep it real, you know, I sometimes people look for somebody to co-sign on their mess.
Wow.
Okay, and so those naysayers that's in your ear, you know, and when you have your own doubts and fear of rejection and fear of, am I qualified, am I equipped to do this? Well, okay, call those naysayers, okay? Right. Because that's what they're going to do. They're going to co-sign on your mess that's going on. But if you choose to believe God and what he says and what he has for you, you don't need to talk to nobody else.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Well, tell someone, how do they get there to have that trust level with God, that should be enough? Talk to somebody about that.
Work on building a relationship with him. And that's a daily process of praying in your word, just growing as an individual and growing to lean not to your own understanding, but to his. And it's a daily process in remembering how he created us and we are of his image. When he made us, he didn't make a mistake.
Wow.
We were designed and created for a purpose. And so if we remember that as we stay connected to him, then we'll learn to just trust in him and be bold in it.
That's
and
good.
have confidence in
That's
it.
good, and that'll shut down a lot of the mess, right?
Shut it down.
And so we'll just eliminate the co-signing on the mess. I like how you put that. You know, what are you about to say, Eric?
I just thought I agree with Stacie wholeheartedly and LaMonica. And one thing that resonates with me is that there's another old saying: birds of a feather, they flock together. So watch the company you keep. You know, me being the preacher, I don't want to do all the preaching. I want to hear some preaching too.
Right.
So, you know, I enjoy hearing the word from the Lord. Like you said, it goes back to that relationship thing. If my focus is on developing a relationship with him, then I'm going to do those things that are conducive to make that relationship healthy.
Right.
I'm going to pray. Okay, if you want to be in a relationship with somebody, you're going to talk to them.
That's good.
You're going to spend some time. You're going to do something. Whether it be, you know, men and women together. If man, you love that woman, you're going to get a flower every night.
Okay. Or some
you're going to get some candy.
Socks or something, perfume, something. Can I get something?
And she going to get him something. You know.
That is so good. So it's about the relationship. You know, and developing that relationship, you know. That is important. Well, y'all talk about this, because I know I want y'all to be honest. Have y'all ever missed any opportunities? Anything had to come back around to you? You didn't seize it the first time?
Oh, yeah.
I would say that didn't necessarily let it slip past me the first time, but there were some mistakes that I made the first time, and actually it was my relationship with my daughter. She's an adult now. And, you know, I was the one trying to raise her like my parents raised me. And it just didn't work for her. You know, it's the do as I say and I don't want to hear anything else kind of upbringing. And for her, it just didn't necessarily work all the time. And so there was a lot of resentment that she had towards me, and she felt that I was unfair, even though I tried to counter all of that with love and support and, you know, to give her certain experiences here and there. She just didn't necessarily see it. And so God has just orchestrated things where we do have that second chance at a more loving relationship. And I know there's some things that I have to say to her that I can't say it the way I necessarily want to say it, but what will be the best way for her to receive it. And I have to make sure that I just kind of filter some things and say it in a way that she can accept it and know that it's not an indictment on her, but I'm here to guide her. And I don't want her to repeat some of the same mistakes or do some of the things necessarily that she has done that it wasn't necessarily the positive things.
That's good.
And so because of my relationship with Christ, I was able to grow as a person and as a Christian and say, you know, what is the best way to heal the relationship I have with her and take away and just remove what happened in the past and move forward. And so we've been able to do that.
And that is so good. I believe that you're really talking to someone who needs a healing in whatever type of relationship they had. Maybe they had a bad relationship with a child, you know, mother, daughter, you know, son, father, or relationship with a spouse. And it was just trying to get them to do something their way as opposed to the way that it could have been done. It could have been done differently. And so that's an encouraging word for someone who's listening. They got another opportunity, but choose your words, choose your tone, choose your facial expression, choose your demeanor this second time to know that person you're talking to. You know, will they receive it if I come a different way this time? So that's really, really good, because healing is wanting to go forth. Reconciliation is wanting to go forth in that relationship. And sometimes we have to adjust, like you say, to people's needs. It cannot be all about what we want. We cannot say everything we want to say all the time, although we say, okay, if I just get it out, because I want my point to be made. Okay, but is it going to be detrimental to somebody's life if we're selfish and want to get it out the way we want to get it out? Or is it going to enhance or bring somebody up instead of tearing them down? So these second opportunities for reconciliation, we got to be careful